Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter where in the world you are joining us from. You are at your destination. We call this the bus station. It's busting out. We are the hosts. We are the Brunch Busters. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man beside me, Chris Parrish, my Brunch Buster brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? How's everybody in the chat doing? Thank you for joining your Sunday morning or afternoon with us, or evening, depending on where you are. Time zones are a bitch. But yeah, how's everyone doing?
Hopefully everyone doing well. I mean, it's beautiful and sunny out my way here today, so it's kind of nice to see some sun, a little bit of warmth, because we're not holding on to that much longer.
No. But we do want to say hello to the people in our chat right now, as we have Barry Monkey coming in saying hello, everyone. How are you doing? We've got Chris Best coming in saying good afternoon, gentlemen. We got Bobby Stats, Bobby Badito coming in saying I'm doing great, Bobby. Just like Barry Monkey saying I'm doing well. Thank you. You're very welcome. Bobby's also coming in very early saying lead announced Roxanne Perez and Lash Legend for the Iron Survivor qualifying match, as well as Trick Williams versus Joe Coffey. And she announced that through her Instagram. So very fun stuff. And if you want to always check more of NXT, always check out our amazing duo on Tuesday nights, Astro Pizarro and Ed Fries with Taking Over.
Yeah, and I bet Ed is just absolutely through the moon ecstatic to know that he's got a Lash Legend match coming his way, because you know how much Ed enjoys some Lash Legend. And good morning, Melball. How are you doing this morning as well, too?
Morning. But yeah, and also before we even get going, we want to just showcase our affiliates, our good friends over at RogueEnergy.com. Just want to say that if you are feeling a little not with it, you need that little boost of energy, make sure you go to RogueEnergy.com. And if you're looking at the prices, you're like, oh man, only they were 10% cheaper. Well, guess what? You're in luck, because if you use the promo code OLEPODS, we'll save you that 10% off your order. So check them out and save yourself some money. But Bobby, your thoughts on kind of the week that was wrestling? A lot of kind of stuff happening. We got some news in terms of where shows are going to go now with NXT going to the CW.
Yeah, well, I mean, opportunity arose on that front when Billy Corgan shit the bed on that opportunity, so to speak.
Yeah. He smashed his pumpkin of opportunity when that situation arose.
Yes, he sure did. It was a terrible move by the NWA, but yes, NXT finding a new home. So very interesting there. And, you know, all sorts of things coming out of the world of MLW as of late. It's just lots of stuff in general. You know, AEW's got a pay-per-view coming up this Saturday. I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit here on the program. And Basser, what's up, brother? How are you doing?
Yeah. But yeah, where to start today? It's a good little thing. I mean, you did mention the MLW pay-per-view. We will talk about that in a little bit. Let's see, which one to start off with? Let's start off with let's start off with this one. We have the most obvious one. We have War Games is officially back.
War Games.
And right now we have 4-on-4 with the Judgment Day of JD McDonough, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio going up against Seth freaking Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and main event Jey Uso. Now the rumor is that it's going to be 5-on-5, and as we've been seeing lately, there's been some sort of perhaps an alliance made through Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Seems like he would be the fifth, but Randy Orton's being targeted as a potential fifth on the other side. So it sounds like Randy Orton is set to return at War Games. On top of that, there has been other matches advertised, as The Miz is going to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. We have Zoe Stark challenging Rhea Ripley for her Women's Championship. We have a potential Women's War Games match being teased as well. What are your thoughts so far as we talk about Survivor Series but with War Games for the second straight year.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm always an advocate for war games if you have a reason for it, and I get they seem to have a reason for the feud with the Judgment Day in general, so I'm on board with that. I don't know if I always like the additions of people just for the sake of it. Like you said, there's a storyline going on where a bit of an allegiance with Drew, and clearly the allegiance is being made for this purpose, kind of thing. Like you kind of see through the charade of that whole thing. It's not like this has been a long build up or anything. It's just, hey, we got war games. We need to give a reason why they're in this thing together. But I'm not against it too. I mean, no harm in seeing Drew in a war games matchup. As for some of the other matches like Miz and Gunther, like I love Gunther and I have no issue with the Miz. I just don't see any way out of this other than Gunther just annihilates the Miz. Like just destroys someone. Like you almost like, and Miz is the right guy to take that kind of abuse. Really, I mean, he's been taking that his whole career, but I just want to see Gunther slap the shit out of him and just destroy him in that ring and really solidify that dominance in the IC title run.
I have a different idea how I want things to play out, but I do agree with you that I do think the men's match this year is a little bit more must see just because you're a little bit more invested in the storyline. We were talking just before the show, and the rumor with the women's one is Damage Control. Now that they have got to the 4, and I believe Dakota Kai is not yet medically cleared, so it is 4 right now with a team of Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and I know a rumor is Becky Lynch being on that team as well. It does feel like that one is being forced just to have it. I do like what the Damage Control story is going on right now, but it does feel forced because War Games is in just a couple weeks' time, 2 weeks. Saying you can see a preview or review show here on our local establishment prior and following, and stay tuned. I might be doing another watch along for that show as well. But what I think I would do is I would stay to the 4-on-4 this year, and just a lot more time to the matches, a lot more time to the entrances, like in terms of like if it was like a minute and a half. Maybe bump it up to 2 minutes before or something like that. And I would keep it 4-on-4. And I think what I would do is I'd have Randy Orton come back after Gunther beats The Miz to set up Gunther versus Randy Orton for the Intercontinental Championship. And then I would have Drew McIntyre come out. And if you were to have to say, hypothetically, you have the babyface win the War Games match, I'd maybe have Drew McIntyre attack a Cody Rhodes. And I'd be like, okay, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes gives me a fresh feud. You have 2 guys that from the early 2000s, like the 2004 kind of on, those guys were getting their start with WWE at the time. And they both left the company. They have very similar stories. They got, quote unquote, fired from the company. They made their name, came back, and then they became bigger stars. One, Drew becoming champion, Cody Rhodes becoming what we all know. So I would have a lot of time for that instead of maybe just going into Drew going in Judgment Day. That just doesn't feel natural to me.
Yeah. And no, I agree with you there as well, too. And I like the idea of Randy Orton coming back and setting up a thing with Gunther. And he doesn't have to be included in a War Games match. Like, I almost don't like when guys come back and are immediately inserted into a match that can get a little chaotic in the first place. I don't know that I want to see Randy Orton in a situation that could, maybe be the nail in the coffin that ends his career based on who knows quite how healthy he is. Sure, he's probably in tip-top shape upon coming back for a return, but when you've gotten to a certain age and those injuries have mounted up over the years, the slightest thing could end up putting him back out, and that could be the final time. And I don't know that inserting him into War Games with this little time would be the best laid plan. I love your idea of him right as Gunther celebrating, like as if there's nobody that holds a candle to, just how good I am, as he's standing over the Miz's beaten down, destroyed body. All of a sudden, you get the RKO out of nowhere on Gunther. That place would pop massively for that situation.
And we have to think, like, it's in Chicago. Yeah, we know. We're not oblivious. We're straight edge to the situation. We understand that people are going to be clamoring, CM Punk, CM Punk. That's fine. If you're a fan of CM Punk and you want him there, cool. But if you're not and you don't want him there, guess what? You're probably not going to get CM Punk because they don't need him. It's not a thing. There's no real rumors. And I heard like, oh, they might advertise 5th members just to debunk any CM Punk rumor. But here's the thing. You're going to have it regardless. You're going to have it with anybody regardless. You can do Miz TV or the Grayson Waller effect with on the show like you did at just the past Saudi Arabia show at Crown Jewel. If it's in Chicago and there's no guest announced, CM Punk, right? We're going to get drowned out with that one. My thing is I just don't care enough about people like CM Punk returning right now. What I do care about is I care about the stories that I'm seeing in WWE progress. I want to know how Judgment Day goes into War Games. Personally, I'd have them win War Games. Just like you have Bloodline like demolishing people in a point. Why not have Judgment Day do that? I don't know. Like I'm very interested, but what I'm more interested about is how the internal storylines are going to be told through this. And I want to see what they do to surprise me, if anything.
I also want to say, and people can say that they disagree with me on this, that having Crown Jewel when they do, and then having to have one of the supposed big fours in Survivor Series and now the addition of War Games, like 2-3 weeks later, takes all the oomph out of Survivor Series, in my opinion. Like, not to say don't do Crown Jewel, but can we not do Crown Jewel in one of the dead month pay-per-views where they give us one of these, like, who gives a shit, like, off the collar, like, throwaway pay-per-views that they do? Do Crown Jewel then. Why do you got to cram Crown Jewel into the same time frame as a Survivor Series? Like, they wouldn't do this at WrestleMania. They wouldn't cram a show 2 weeks before WrestleMania in there. I say that now, and then watch this year, they'll go cram some garbage pay-per-view in 2 weeks before WrestleMania just to fuck with me. But I mean, in all honesty, I feel like Crown Jewel kind of now takes the oomph out of the build towards Survivor Series.
Yeah, and I'm kind of that way as well. Like, I get it. They have a contract to do a certain amount of Saudi shows every year, and I don't think they're necessarily picking the dates as much as it's a collaboration with. They have to do dates within maybe windows or in a certain month. The only thing I hope with these Saudi shows moving forward, if you are doing them and you know you have another PLE or a show coming in, that you use the Saudi show to be more of a continuation of the stories. So it's still in the progress of the timeline, and they're not these.
Why not just do that premium live event in Saudi Arabia then? And then use the Saudi money to jazz it up and make it look huge. Like, honestly, it's like they could have done Survivor Series War Games in Saudi Arabia. Quite easy.
I'm just curious of like why you can't do like a Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown there. Like, why can't you just do 1 week where you just give them a gigantic Raw and SmackDown?
Yeah.
Unless every Saudi show has to be Crown Jewel.
I mean, they're gonna throw their money at it. Like, why not use that? Like, for all the pyro, for all the making your stage feel big, everything of that sort. Why not? Like, give them those shows. Like, who cares? Who cares if it comes back to the same city in the US or Canada that it's been 500 times before? Like, nobody. The reason that these international shows do so much better is because these people don't get them as often. So they haven't had, years and decades of going to these shows consistently over and over again to the point where I was like, I'll catch the next one. They don't get the I'll catch the next one as often as what we do. and stuff like that. So it's great. I think it's fantastic. They should do more overseas.
Bobby coming in saying, I'm looking forward to seeing Randy Orton coming back in the ring. And I know I glazed over, Chris, your comment earlier, but I'll say it again. As much as I like Adam Pearce announcing War Games, I really wish William Regal would do it. And yeah, I get it. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious about. I mean, William Regal was the NXT guy that did it. You never really did. You ever? No, he never did it on the main roster, did he?
No, just on NXT. Yeah,
yeah.
Because they only just introduced it last year on the main.
Yeah.
Roster, so. And we know where William Regal was at that time.
Yeah, we don't.
He was on the Titanic.
Barry Monkey saying, I'm just thinking of Americans going to Saudi Arabia to take part in war games. That's how the World War started. Right.
Sure. It did make me laugh, though.
Speaking of which, did you happen to see the poster to War Games?
No.
Where it looks like it's Cody Rhodes in, like, just camouflage face paint, which just is hilarious to me because it just looked like Stardust went camo.
With that big ass ugly neck tattoo on the side.
No, I don't think you see the tattoo. No, you just see his head, and it looks like it's above water, kind of like, you know how sometimes the Navy SEALs are like high in the water and they're.
Yeah, but now all I can imagine is just like Cody going around trying to be all camouflaged in the jungles or something like that, and the only thing that stands out is that ugly ass fucking tattoo on the side of his neck. Like, shit, there he is. We got him.
My thing, if they're gonna do something like that, you better have "Welcome to the Jungle" as the official theme to War Games. Like, if you're not gonna commit to the whole thing, then why even touch on it? Like. But like, I don't know.
Fair.
They'll probably have like some like Hardy song, and like it just makes no sense.
Hardy will be there live, and his equipment will fail.
Like maybe he's cooking burgers in his pickup truck, and wearing camouflaged overalls.
You haven't tried that?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's like a Saskatchewan Rough Riders tailgate party, cooking burgers on the pickup truck, and then sticking a watermelon on your head.
Chris Best coming in saying Cody is channeling his inner Barry Windham, aka the Stalker. I don't know if we are entering a world where
Cody's gonna be like, what was that bad character they gave to his brother Dustin over in WCW? Was it 6 or something like
7?
That? 7. Yeah. He's just gonna be sitting
6
there
is afraid of 7. Don't you know that?
He's gonna be staring in people's windows, checking them out, like, "Hey, sup, Cody?"
Yeah.
Nightmare.
There's no. Yeah, if Cody is a stalker, that would be an American nightmare, and I think. We need to move on to another topic as soon as possible.
I don't know. We got Bobby rolling. Bobby Stats is rolling on the floor laughing. I think we're doing good.
I know. I just don't know how much I can hold it in about not going like that full extra mile here.
And of course, yes, 7, aka Uncle Fester.
So in AEW, the Bunny has departed from the company. We saw the debut of Mariah May finally making that announcement that she has signed with the company. And it was very interesting where she was doing a backstage segment with RJ City. And we see kind of her getting very excited at the potential of meeting Toni Storm, which seemed to be very interesting that maybe they're looking to have her join maybe Toni Storm. To kind of have maybe somebody to go up against, maybe Saraya and Ruby Soho. I don't know. But yeah, you're
Soho.
Yeah, that song came on the radio when I was driving to work last week, and I get it why people like it. I get why she used it. It makes sense. I think if that was her favorite band and she got to use that song, cool. I would be stoked too if my favorite band played my theme and it was legally okay. I'm just not a fan of them. which
Fair.
is just not my type of music. But congrats to Mariah May for making her way to All Elite Wrestling. Hopefully she gets more than a 9:30 slot on television.
At least she knows when she needs to show up for work.
Yeah.
Clock in at 9.
Until I get visual
by
proof that company, until I get visual proof that company actually cares about its women division, stop signing women. Like, just work on the internal issue, and that is give them an opportunity, you morons.
Or the internal issue of give your heads a shake and start writing a good show. Because lately it's been not so good.
Bobby coming in saying, I could see the bunny going back to TNA, and I could see Mariah May and Tony Storm storytelling being just like Trish Stratus and Mickie James storyline. Yeah, I mean, I think the bunny would be her going back to TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to decide to call it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I even wouldn't be against maybe her going to MLW. Like, it just seems like one of those companies makes the most sense, because it's either that or her going to NXT, and I just don't think that. I think she'd get lost right now in the shuffle of NXT.
MLW could always use somebody for Janai Kai to kick the face off of. It's still come on over.
So
that was the joke.
I mean, Easter's coming, right?
Jesus Christ.
It's only like 5 months away.
Sure.
I did my math. I did my math.
I'm trusting you. I didn't.
Quick math. It's kind of my thing. That's when you're supposed to give me like a stupid one. I just say an answer. That's wrong, but I'm like, but it's quick.
What am I supposed to go? 2 + 2 is 4.
You're like, okay, well, it's 94 times 52. I'm like, 12. I'm like, that's not right. Yeah, but it's quick.
Like the fast food industry. Is it right? No, buddy, you got it fast.
Yeah, it's food and it's fast.
Well, it resembles food.
But yeah, we have Barry Monk coming in. I look at her, Butcher, and Blade and think it's an ideal faction for Crazy Steve and Impact. I like Crazy Steve, and I want to see more of him. I think he would be awesome in MLW, actually.
Yeah. MLW needs people. They're losing them by the second.
That is true.
Yeah. But, there you go. You can wrestle Delmy or Tiara James. That's if maybe they can't afford Delmy anymore there, Bobby. It seems like every time someone loses their belt, they put the money somewhere else, and that person doesn't get to come back. Just ask Alexander Hammerstone how life's treating him right now.
And speaking of Alexander Hammerstone,
look at that.
He broke his silence. And he actually had a video that he posted on his social medias explaining a little bit more about what's going on with him, trying to clarify to his fan base that he is no longer with MLW. His picture has been taken off the roster page, all that. He has not been in contacts with anyone, especially Cord Bauer, about anything. He's been taken away from the promotional videos. Yet he hasn't been released legally by the company yet. So he's came off confused, not sure what's going on. This seems to be kind of this seems to kind of really be true to what we were reading and the rumors that were kind of floating around that, first he said he wanted his release, then all of a sudden said that he hasn't been released. So it does come back to, it does sound like a confusing situation. What do you make of this? And I don't know, why can't they just let him go? If they don't want to use him, he doesn't want to be there, just let him go.
I could give you a couple of reasons why and these are all speculation. I don't know. I don't know Hammerstone personally. I've never had the chance to talk to him, interview him. So I can't tell you. And on the flip side of that, I've never talked to Court Bauer either. So I don't know where his head's at. I don't know any of that. All I can do is speculate based on what I've seen. And there's been a lot of people that kind of silently leave the company when they've been on contract or when their contract's coming up. And they don't necessarily get told they're gone, and there seems to be some even complaining about money they thought they were supposed to get and didn't get. There's been a lot of rumors about the treatment of wrestlers, especially on their way out from MLW. As much as I love MLW, it does sound like a very shitty business practice and doesn't really leave the door open if you're going to really screw with a guy like this and everything. I mean, Hammerstone might become so bitter that, he doesn't want to ever make another appearance despite what happens for him in the future. The other thing I can speculate is the lawsuit with the WWE. Bobby saying, didn't want to lose his title against Alex. I don't even think it's about him putting Alex Kane over so much as it just is his appearances, his money that was guaranteed for working pay-per-view spots, and then when he was available, not getting to work pay-per-view spots, and the money going elsewhere, which you could speculate was to somebody like a Cardona. So yeah, I think it's more bitterness based on that than it is about giving the belt up to Alex Kane. It's just him not being involved in, a rematch, or him not getting the opportunity to be back with the company and get those spots that he was expected to be getting. So, I think the other thing you can always speculate is they're probably fearing that Hammerstone's likelihood would be to maybe do a WWE tryout or talk to the WWE, and they might be holding back for that purpose because of the complicated lawsuit that's still going on between the two companies. That'd be my only other speculation, really. And again, it's just speculation, but we'll see how it all unfolds. I'm sure eventually Hammerstone's either just going to be able to go walk over to one of the other companies. And I mean, especially if WWE or AEW are that interested in him, you can't tell me that his contract with MLW is so airtight that neither company's lawyers could afford to have that thing broken if they were that interested in him.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I tend to agree with you. Like if there's an open legality lawsuit kind of there, it would explain why maybe you're not seeing a pushback from MLW for anything, because maybe they're not able to say anything to them right now. And then for WWE, if by chance they are, they may not want to push the button because they don't necessarily know what's the next play if they were to do so. The one thing that just sucks, it seems like Alexander Hammerstone is a victim of a situation that he had no area of knowledge on how to get out, but then he also doesn't understand why it's happening to him and nobody else. That's what it seems to me. In regards to not losing, I think obviously when you're the champion and there could be this situation, that could have been his only leverage in a deal as well. Unfortunately, in wrestling, there is a lot of political stuff going on, and it sucks. But at the end of the day, I just look at Alexander Hammerstone as being somebody that right now it just seems, if you can't get out right now, if by chance, they're not letting you out, the crappy thing is, I would just flat out tell the company, look, if you're not going to tell me why you can't release me, then just have me do something. Let me keep me going right now. If he's so set on not wanting to return, then there's going to be that stalemate. But if I was him, I would just say, look, I'm going to give me 6 months, and then I'll poke whatever guys you want me to put over. Because honestly, in wrestling, it's more of a false narrative when you read, oh, person X doesn't want to put over person Y. There's rarely is that ever the reason. Now, it's why is person X putting over person Y? That's what the question you should always know. And if person X doesn't like it, or they don't agree with it, or there's maybe something that just doesn't fly there, then you're going to see, well, I don't want to I'll put Stone Cold and Brock Lesnar as a perfect example. it's not like Stone Cold didn't want to put over Brock Lesnar. It's just he didn't understand the situation of doing it for free on live TV for no build up when you can make money and make real business doing it, which is really what pro wrestling is. It's the business end, right?
Well, and think of the business when it comes to Hammerstone and Alex Kane. Why would Hammerstone put over Alex Kane? Because look how big Beaumaye became instantly. It's starting to take off like never before, and Hammerstone did an amazing thing for an up-and-coming talent like Alex Kane.
Yeah, and like I think too, there's just a lot more to a situation than just do I win or lose? Because really, it's not about winning or losing. It's about the show in general. It's about, how can I do the best job? You're performers. Like at the end of the day, you don't hear in Hollywood actors saying, "Oh, I die in 50 minutes into this movie. What the hell is going on, director? I want to live." It's like, no. Like Jericho said it best. It's like if the director doesn't like, if he gets too much pushback from an actor, they'll just fire him and find somebody else that'll do it. Like it. That happens in wrestling too. Guys will lose out an opportunity and they'll just find somebody else that will do it. The unfortunate thing with Hammerstone is that, I do think maybe he's just a victim of a situation that he didn't cause, but he's tied in the middle of because of the timing. And it's just unfortunate. But I do hope that there's a resolution because it's not, unless you hear that there's something he did wrong, he is unfortunately the victim of his circumstance.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it's a wasted talent right now as well too. Because who cares? He's probably going on to bigger, better things. You have to assume he's going on to bigger, better things. MLW is a stepping stone, just like a lot of smaller promotions are. They're a stepping stone for wrestlers to get somewhat of television exposure, somewhat of doing pre-tapes, somewhat into the mindset of what's going to be expected of them when they go to an AEW or a WWE or a New Japan Pro Wrestling or anything of the sort. They have to prepare, and MLW is a great stepping stone in that direction. But Hammerstone, he's ready. He's got the look. He can wrestle. He can talk. He's everything about him screams wrestler. Everything about him screams WWE. That's the thing. Like, I think he'll get lost in the shovel going to an AEW. I think he's a perfect fit for the structure over in WWE.
Chris Best saying some actors will do a movie if they die, like Harrison Ford in The Force Awakens.
Or Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. And I say that because everybody died in that movie having to do that movie. Just saying.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
It's still not bad. It's still not as bad as Five Nights at Freddy's. Fuck you, Five Nights at Freddy's.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I appreciate what he did. At least he's trying to communicate with his fans, and I like that because that's the unfortunate thing as a performer, especially in wrestling, where you can get passed by in a week. You just got to somehow find a way to stay relevant and stay in people's eyes, because if you got overlooked, you could get forgotten, and that's really the worst case scenario. And I fear that could be with something like Hammerstone, who is now he's 31, 32. Those are prime years of his life. Like, these are the prime years of his career that he wants to not waste.
Yeah, 32 to be exact. Yeah. Born January 17th, 1991. So he's going to want to get down to some business pretty quick here.
But, I mean, I would love to see him with a Braun Breaker coming up to the main roster and being we're the new big guys moving up. I think it would be interesting.
See, the Braun Breaker's ready to go though pretty soon, and I think that Hammerstone still, despite as far along as I believe he is, would benefit from a run in NXT first. Get into the Performance Center, get used to the landscape there, and go through at the NXT roster for a little bit.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot more that you can be patient on the main roster with Alexander Hammerstone. If I was to, I think he has more of the physical in-ring tools than a Jade Cargill right away. But I do think that there is some things with Alexander Hammerstone that you just have to tighten up, which I think is fair. But I do think though I do think there are some things you can just say, okay, you're on the roster, you can learn that over time. Opposed to, maybe going to the Performance Center doing a year in NXT. But at the same time, if NXT is going on CW, that could be a nice guy to have as the face of NXT on CW, as Bobby's saying, Hammerstone versus Trick Williams. I'll put another one on there. How about Hammerstone versus Carmelo Hayes, or Hammerstone even against like Ilya Dragunov?
Yeah, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Bear Monk coming in. People assume wrestlers look at the company like they're in, like a fan does, when it's a job like any other. They're living their livelihood, their family income. Exactly. And I think that's just it. And one thing I think we can all agree, even if we're fans or even if we had some sort of time in the business, is, there's always going to be a different play. Like, somebody definitely has a different objective to a situation. And you don't want to be that guy that spreads that false narrative because you have an idea of how something's playing off. In this world, unfortunately, you have to do a little bit of due diligence and find out the correct way if you're going to post it on social media, because it's that added phrase. It's one thing to have people look at you like an idiot. It's even worse to open your mouth and prove them right.
And I do it every Sunday and Thursday right here on our local establishment.
Yeah, we do that well.
Well, yeah.
It's fun. But also
that's why I didn't do a stream last night, because I would have gone well and then some.
But speaking of MLW, speaking of streaming, Bobby Munson, I believe we have you hosting an MLW stream coming up. Before I change topics, let the people know what that is.
Well, I mean, of course, you'll be there along with Papa Smokes this coming Saturday, November the 18th. I believe that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. You'll see it on the calendar. I got it right on there. I believe it's at 8 p.m. Eastern time, though. So we will be doing the MLW tailgate watch-along party for MLW's Fightland. That was the one that's going to be topped with the main event of Jacob Fatu taking on the world champion Alex Kane. So if you want to join us here at our local establishment, make sure you're subscribed, followed, all those wonderful things, and join in on the chat as we do a watch along of all things MLW this coming Saturday night. And we always drink, we get up to shenanigans, we have some fun. It's always a good time. We know Bobby Stats will be there in the chat joining us for sure, watching along as well too. Bobby, are you pulling double duty this Saturday? I gotta ask you. Are you doing Fightland and watching Full Gear? Like, you got two screens set up, ready to go? Or have you got like more shows than just the two going this Saturday as well too? You're a busy dude. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. I know.
You got a double dip, man.
Yeah. And Chris Best saying he's probably going to be joining us too. So again, we'll probably have Chris Best there with us. So
who's playing the stalker now, Chris Best?
There you go. But it's always fun. We don't know. Pop Smokes might get himself into some spicy wings or something silly like that. We don't know what kind of shenanigans he'll bring to the table with his food selection. I will probably try to figure out some sort of new food to eat on air that week, and just overall fun to be had here. Join us.
A choice has been made.
He's watching Fightland. Oh, I don't know. I think there's a follow-up message saying that he's watching Full Gear as well too. I have
a feeling though too, if you're like, you know what, if I want to watch a 2-hour show opposed to potentially a marathon show, it might depend on he might have something going else on that, a 2-hour window. It might be all he has.
Yeah, that's fair. But it'll be action-packed. It'll be fun. And, and speaking of, who knows, maybe we'll have somebody hop on in to cover AEW stuff that night, too. I don't know. It won't be us, because clearly we'll be occupied with what we're doing, but who knows? Well, yeah, no.
But yeah.
No, it won't be, but we'll see what unfolds.
You see all the information through our social platforms or email down the on the ticker below. So make sure you're following that throughout the week. If there is going to be any our local established coverage on that, you will be able to find it somewhere on those. So stay tuned. And another good way is if you're watching on the YouTube side and you want to see if our local establishment's doing anything on AEW on the YouTube, make sure you're hitting that notification bell button. You're hitting like, you're hitting all that stuff. You hit that follow, because what you want to do is keep yourself alerted. And that way you can be notified every time our local establishment does go live. That way you don't forget if we're doing something, because it's just our little way of letting you know we're on.
It's on.
No. We only know 2 letters at 26, O and N. So,
hey, we also know the letters OLE, and I mean, the word of OLE is spreading worldwide. Parish. I mean, we got so many fans out there, so much so that they're even going as far as getting tattoos with OLE on it. That's how dedicated our fan base is.
I love it. But what I also love too is something I've predicted that I wanted for so long now, and that is Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Sky joining forces. I've been wanting that for a while, and guess what? SmackDown gave it to me as we saw Asuka turn heel on SmackDown. Looks like she has joined Damage Control alongside Dakota Kai and Bayley, who seems to be a little confused with the whole thing, but is going along with it because, well, why wouldn't you? This does look like it's somehow leading into that match at War Games, but for now, Asuka turned heel by spraying that blue mist in Bianca Belair's face. Gotta say, love the heel turn. We also saw another heel turn that, I mean, we can talk about later, but just your thoughts on kind of the main story coming out of SmackDown was the women of SmackDown.
Which is good. I mean, Asuka turns heel. Like, my whole thing is like Asuka's shtick, whether heel or babyface, is the same. So I'm not surprised. Asuka just destroys whoever she wants to. I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, the formation is great. The storyline's good. It all screams to me like an obvious finale to the way the War Games match would go. And to me, the way this goes, Bayley is going to take the loss for the team, which is going to be followed by the other 3 destroying Bayley at the end of the War Games match. Just saying, I'm throwing it out there now. That's how that match ends.
Yeah, I'm very interested on this. Although I don't think you need a Damage Control loss here. I think it could make a very good situation if you were to have like maybe Kairi Sane win here. Chris Best coming in saying, I don't think Asuka turned heel. She just reminded us who she is, and she doesn't care about who she takes out.
That's I think where I was kind of going to. It's like, it's not really a heel turn because Asuka just beats up whoever she wants to.
I mean, yeah, lately, yeah. But she was on a team with Charlotte and Bianca. She sprayed mist into her own team and then joined the other team. I don't think that's very babyface-like.
I'm just saying nothing about Asuka ever is full babyface like either. She kind of like toes that line a little bit.
No. But anyway, she joined the team of Damage Control. Any way you look at it, any way you want to spice it up. That's what we saw. And
she
Bobby
decided she was going to go full bitch, and she went full bitch. Well, I get it.
I mean, nobody's ready for Asuka, not even the viewers. But in the greatest one-liner that I love, the only thing for sure is that nothing's for sure. Bobby Rodino coming in. I can see Shotzi being in the Women's War Games match, and that's something that, yeah, that makes sense because you have, as I said, you have your Dakota Kai not being medically cleared. So right now there is 4 women that are medically cleared to compete at War Games, Bayley being one, Io Sky being another, Kairi Sane, and Asuka. Now, if you're going to put a group of 4 on the other side, well, you have Bianca Belair, you have Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Charlotte have teased kind of a tag team over late over the last little while. That could be somebody in there. And then being rumored as a fourth could be the Mad Becky Lynch, which I thought interesting, especially with her history with Charlotte. Be very interesting to see her and Charlotte back in the same ring again.
It'll be like old friends getting back in the studio to do a new song. It's like the same as it always was.
But yeah, so I'm very interested to see kind of where the story goes, but I'm like you, the War Game match itself feels like it'd be forced, but I do like kind of the story of what they're doing. I think this gives 8 to 10 women on SmackDown something that I care about. And I think that's great, not only for the people involved, but the depth of the division. And if you were to do 2 War Games matches, this allows you to do something with other championships, maybe. Maybe we see something there. I don't know. I'm just saying it out loud because I never keep things to myself.
Really, you don't have an inner child telling you not to say things?
Oh, trust me, I have an inner child, but it's the adult in me that's like, yeah, I got stuff to say.
Just sitting there, no, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you know that scene in The Simpsons, you just have Homer banging the things, the monkeys just banging that's kind of me sometimes, all the time. But yeah, no, very interested to see what's going on. But then again, if that's happening, Chris Best is still saying, damn it, Paris was right again.
Was right.
But yeah. Anyway, we're hitting about that hour mark. I know we still got a couple things that we could talk about, but we talked about kind of future shows. Mentioned taking over. We mentioned this weekend with the MLW Fightland watch long, potentially some AEW coverage. I think maybe everyone might need a break. Fill up your drinks, go to the bathroom. Maybe you're just curious to see what else is going on. So how about we give you a video that does just that? We like to call it calendar time. So here it is, the weekly calendar of our local establishment.
You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Say you have my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough.
Yeah.
And we also want to take the time to thank OnLap for that song that they played. We appreciate not only the fact that they put out great music, but they allow us to use it free of charge. Thank you to the band OnLap for supplying that nice song for us to use.
Great band. Even Macho Man Randy Savage would agree. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Macho Man, here's something for you.
Oh, you take that back, Macho Man Randy Savage. Doesn't he make you so mad that you just want to go down there and hit him? Well, maybe not him because he's kind of big, but you just want to hit the guy sitting next to you? Well, not him because he's kind of big too, but you just want to hit his kid? Hey, grab Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, I'm never gonna get tired of that.
You don't say. You don't say. But speaking of one thing that we can't get tired enough, and that is getting ready for the Golden Busters, which is happening. It is happening this time, people. Just so you know. So we have the Golden Busters is set as 4-episode. Bobby.
69, dude.
And do you know what date that is?
Oh, fuck. You making me look up dates now. So, because we're on episode 65, so
December 10th, Bobby.
Hold on. Are you right about that? We're on 65, 66, 67. Yeah, here. 10th it is. 10th it is. December.
Wait, you don't think I would bring this up and not know my date?
Well, you challenged me to figure it out.
I wanted you just to say 69 because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, I went full Bill and Ted on that one.
I know you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. But we also have if you want to be involved, you can always come and message us, whether it is at our socials, whether it is on our email. But if you even want to just, do a little to help us out, we'd love it. We want to be very interactive with everyone who has a chance to come and watch this, enjoy it. So if you want to be a part of the show, why not? Even if you want to do a little bit of just anything, just let us know. We're open. We want to make this show for you. We know. So if we can just stand back, be lazy, and do nothing, we'll take it.
We need presenters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to have somebody on screen saying who's winning what and whatever now and who's it.
So yeah, if you want to be involved at the first ever Golden Busters, let us know. So just to put that out. But Bobby,
we promise you it won't be the train wreck of the year.
It definitely won't be. But it's happened, and we could find out December 10th. But Bobby, serious question. Now that Busting Out is technically the boomer age, because that's the age 65 episode. The age of retirement, that's a little weird. Figure we that's some 80 and 70 born people. I'm just kidding. But we're not young. We're quite old ourselves. We're getting to that age as
me?
Both of us. That's not old. But yeah, just thought maybe we have some words of wisdom to Busting Out.
Words of wisdom. You wanted to use Busting Out for words of wisdom. What the fuck? My words of wisdom. Laugh harder, and realize that this has become less about wrestling since the very first episode than we ever could have imagined, and it's fucking fantastic.
Hey, creation has no limits, all right? We have the ability to ramble. This is the Royal Ramble, if you want to call it that. But Barry Monkey coming in saying, I have a low-cut dress and some
100%. I want this to happen now. Barry, if you're willing to make presenter videos for us, yes. Hired.
But make sure that we for the sake of copyright, we can
I think it's more than
re-screen some of this stuff. Words of wisdom, right?
He's going to be in front of a podium, man. In front of a podium.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what the podium allows people to see or not.
It's just because it's a glass podium, it's still a podium. Yeah, Astrid, you're right. Words of wisdom. Oh my, yeah.
Well, she didn't disagree.
Words of laughter. Words of laughter. Words of obnoxiousness. Words of full-grown men acting like 10-year-olds.
That sounds about right. I mean,
yeah.
Isn't that like when you kind of get older? That's what you do. You kind of try to.
It's like Sesame Street. It's like Sesame Street with more cursing.
Oh my god. That would be if Sesame Street just made us one episode where it's just Sesame Street Unleashed. That would be one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Behind the laughter with Sesame Street.
Yeah. Sesame Street After Dark.
Snuffleupagus is like, you don't want to know what I do with this nose. It's kind of like that guy on Billy Corgan's shows.
We just see Big Bird like starting street fights. It's like he's like Kimbo Slice, and he's like, okay.
He just grabs Oscar the Grouch and just one uppercut them. Stay in the trash.
Just like, hockey fight, pounding him, pops up, back down.
Oscar's like, this is why I live in the can all the time. I'm scared for my life.
Or you see the Cookie Monster like jump in there because you see that like Oscar the Grouch was stealing his cookies.
Oh man, we got Bobby laughing again for a second time on this episode. So man, this is
We're talking about Sesame Street Unleashed.
Yeah. I mean, the Count goes full vampire.
Well, I mean, it
Just
would be
turns
after dark, so he would be a lot around.
Yeah. They're sitting there making their plots to drive a stake through his heart when he's sleeping.
It's like,
Get
oh,
your garlic water.
okay, here's an idea, totally off topic, but I mean, it's what we do. I want to see Sesame Street into a video game, but you mix it with Grand Theft Auto. That would be interesting.
Elmo's on the side of a street with a syringe in his arm going, oh boy, that tickles. Hey, you know what? The funniest part about that is my grade 10 science teacher came up with that joke with Tickle Me Elmo was a fad. He actually had one in the hallway and he tickled it. He goes, look, it shoot me up Elmo.
I saw a thing where he had a Tickle Me Elmo, but it had no fur and nothing on, and you just saw like the inside of the machine, like mechanical. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen because it still does like the voice and the movement, but my lord, is that just weird?
Oh, and yeah, someone might have made a mod of it already. And Barry says that thing I remember most about Sesame Street on TV in the UK when I was a kid is them telling you how to cross the road in ways that will likely get you run over for looking the wrong way.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. If you see a car coming, you don't walk.
Bobby wants to see Sesame Street After Dark. You know,
We'll just call it Sesame After Dark, just so the show can be called Sad.
Then all when all the critics are labeling it that way in their reviews, will be like, see, they're just mentioning the show. It's all good.
Right. It's like they're just telling you what not to do. Isn't that a form of learning?
It's like, no, it doesn't read sad state of affairs. If you watch the show, it says Sesame Street After Dark state of affairs if you watch this show.
How the hell did we go from making fun of busting out being old to this?
Because that's exactly what busting out is all about.
That's
Going
really
off
true.
the rails. So we stayed on topic in a sense.
Speaking of going off the rails, I feel like that would be the theme to Sesame Street After Dark. But
now this is priceless. Sex in the Sesame Street.
Barry Monkey. It's taking it too far.
Barry's got problems.
It's weird because So we were talking about Oscar turning quote unquote heel. We also saw Santos Escobar turn heel. Did you happen to see that? Because it's one thing I will say. Now I'm very interested in a storyline based on the LWO. Because SmackDown started off with Rey Mysterio coming down with the LWO, and then that's happened before.
It really has. Twice, in fact.
Yeah. And basically, if you saw the Christmas episode, it's the same thing.
Well, that was busting out after several Christmas drinks.
Yeah, that was the eggnog episode, which, damn it, we should have called it that.
There's room for another eggnog episode this year. It just doesn't land on Christmas Day is all. Just Boxing Day.
No, Boxing Day's a Tuesday. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. Whoops. Not November 26th, Bobby.
It's ironic that you make the calendar, yet you don't know how to read one.
I fucked the calendar up so much that I'm making it. You wouldn't believe it. I had to do 3 copies of it this morning because I couldn't get it straight. But yes,
There was
Christmas
8 days
Eve.
in a week. What say
Christmas
you?
Eve. busting out on Christmas Eve, so that's right. We can, we can tell some stories, drink some nogs, just have a good old jolly time.
I'm telling you, we actually have to keep it at normal time that day.
Yeah, probably because everyone's got shit to do.
Yeah. I got a little one now, and I can't dick around with Christmas time this year.
We could also maybe make it an earlier start if you wanted to. It's up to you.
Oh, well, I might be up, but anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, no. So Rey Mysterio came out, and then all of a sudden Carlito came out to tell him because Rey Mysterio was talking about how he lost the United States title, and he kind of blamed Logan Paul for his antics, and then Carlito kind of points the finger at Santos, be like, "You should be blaming the guy who left the brass knuckles on the apron," and that allowed Santos Escobar to get a little bit upset, and then ended up snapping on Rey Mysterio, and kind of looked like he branched out of the LWO, perhaps, as he kind of mentioned it was supposed to always just be you and me, and then now it seems like it is going to be between Santos and Rey, but very, very interested on that, because the one thing I've noticed is that Santos has always worn an LWO shirt or something since the formation or the brought back of this group. Carlito, since he's been brought back full time, has not worn anything LWO. So it's kind of funny to me that the guy who's not showing LWO colors is pointing fingers at somebody.
That's fair, but
I'm
actually no, it's not fair. Damn it!
But I'm interested in this because it does seem like finally there is an emotional story behind the LWO. So as Astrid is saying, I'm not ready for this. Yeah.
The part I'm ready for is Escobar on his own, because I always thought he was good, and I know that there's a lot there. So I think he's ready for that. Like, and the name alone, like, sorry if this doesn't come across right, but I think he just sounds like a boss. Like, that name makes him sound like a boss, and him being in a group without being the one that stands out as a boss is just not boss enough. I want Escobar to be a boss, a badass boss. I want him to be feared. Like, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, and I'm just curious on like the timing of this and like why we're seeing this now. Because as Bobby's saying, I am interested in the match Rey Mysterio Santos Escobar. And then that's being echoed by Astrid as she's saying it will be great, and it will be. But my reason of like curiosity is, why are we getting this right now? Why is the timing now? Because it doesn't seem like the LWO needs that division so far, like angle, right? It seems like there needs to be something more definitive. Like if WWE were to separate the two sets of tag titles and have SmackDown having a set, I could see maybe Rey and Santos going after this. And then maybe you go into that way. Or something, like, I don't think I've seen enough of Rey and Santos to understand why they're splitting them up right now. Because right now I've seen Rey take a title that was a title match that was really supposed to be for Santos, and then that story never really got fully explained. I mean, he had a reasoning, but they kind of just brushed it away. And then now all of a sudden you have something that, again, it wasn't that definitive. It's not like Santos gave brass knuckles to Logan Paul. It's not like he did that. He actually chased the guy trying to help him. Yeah, did he leave him there? Yeah, maybe. But at one point, Rey was closer to the brass knuckles than Logan. So I don't know. I wouldn't really blame it on him. But I do feel like you believe Santos being a little bit betrayed. A little bit more than I feel Rey being an innocent bystanding victim here.
Yeah, That's fair. And again, like you're right that it feels like there hasn't been as much build, but like I say, I feel like from the get go that Santos Escobar for me is somebody that could have been pushed in a singles way, and that the grouping didn't necessarily help him in a singles run, and I think he's very capable in a singles run. So I guess my bigger excitement is, like has been said in the chat, the match with Ray is going to be good. I think it's also going to be a good way to put Santos over, and I hope that it means that the company has the faith in him to push him into a position where he's at least within the upper mid card somewhere, kind of thing. I think that he can start within the upper mid card as somebody in there to insert himself in some really solid matchups, really start to build up that cred as a singles competitor. And I do see him as somebody that could get to the top of the card with the right continuation of the progression of his career.
The one hope I have, and this is actually what I do hope, I hope that this is something that Bobby coming in saying Logan Paul's at UFC 295 with the WWE United States Championship.
Exactly what we said was going to happen was shit like that, as appearances outside of WWE with the belt. Especially
in the shower. But that's beyond our wanting to know more of. But I could see maybe the LWO name being at stake here. Like, I'd be very interested of if it's Ray versus Santos. I would actually like saying whoever wins gets full control of the LWO. And that's where I can maybe see the Joaquin Wilds and whatnot. Like, I can see maybe Legado del Fantasma turning on Rey Mysterio to like claim full unity of the LWO.
That thought popped in my head as well too, that if they actually put that on the line to have everybody seemingly be in Ray's corner and have everybody seemingly turn on Ray, costing not only the access to the name, but showing an allegiance to the new boss kind of thing. And then if that was the way the faction ran, was Escobar at the helm with people doing a lot of his dirty work and stuff like that, man, that could work for me. I think that could work on many levels for a lot of people. I do like that thought for sure.
And like, it'd be interesting too, because I think I would try to make maybe a trade between Raw and SmackDown where you command like a Raquel Rodriguez over to SmackDown. Because I would have time for Raquel and maybe a Zelina Vega tag team. But then you also have Raquel Rodriguez maybe being brought in at that point, and that would be more of a heel kind of group. Because the one thing I'd like about Zelina Vega, it's like if she was to be a heel member of the LWO, she is a great mouthpiece.
100%.
Like a wicked mouthpiece. One of the best female villain mic skills out there, I think, in WWE. The thing is when she's in the ring as a heel, it doesn't come off as well as her mic skills do. So I do feel like she would be better used in a tag team. But then I think she's more limited as a babyface wrestler right now. I think she'd get lost in the shuffle just with, like we were talking about earlier, the 8 to 10 women that could be presented out in the War Games match. So give her something different, and I think another women's tag team could help give you time to start using those women tag titles a little bit more.
Yep. Well, so they should. I mean, if you're going to have belts, fucking use them.
Right.
If you're going to have too many belts, then just use too many belts. Otherwise, don't have too many belts.
Here's the thing.
Tony
Khan. I could have 15 different $1 in my wallet. It's one thing if I just have them for the sake of having them. But if I really want to get full value, I'll do something with them. Whether it's invest in them, whether it's spend them, whether it's, whatever the case may be. But their value is lost if they're just idle. And it's the same thing as championship titles in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep them on the sideline, the value does not go up. In fact, they are forgotten about and they might go down. But if you do something with them, whether you invest in them, whether you do something of meaning, you could get some more worth out of them. So
Well, it's just like when sports teams don't trust their young up and coming players enough. You don't give them the time out there. You don't allow them to build that confidence that you need them to build. Then they're just going to be a wreck when it comes to needing to be your star kind of thing, because they won't have that determination, that leadership, that stuff that's instilled within you by getting out there and working with the best of the best.
well, that's just it. Logan Paul, who I'm not sure. I read something saying that he retired from boxing. I'd like the chat to let me know if what I saw was positive, like if that was real or not. But what he is doing, if that was the case, is he's then committing more full time to WWE, taking that championship to a UFC, taking a championship and making it more meaningful by presenting it to different audiences. That is something you can do. That is something that you can do to a championship. But Bastard saying, yep, he retired from boxing to focus on wrestling. One, good for him. Appreciate the fact that he's taken WWE seriously enough to commit to it. But as a champion, he's doing exactly what a champion should do, and that is trying to elevate your championship by being someone who, when their title reign's done, saying he helped elevate the title didn't necessarily elevate him. Neither is wrong, but you do have to do something to help elevate both in the process.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, it's yeah, have these women titles. Do something with them. You have an opportunity right now. You actually have a very good set of champions with Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. So let them go to NXT. Let them do everything. Let them go to Raw. Let them go to SmackDown. But put them on your show. Have them defend. Hell, even if it's a kickoff match for War Games, just do something.
Mm-hmm. Anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, Bass, that's kind of Bobby had mentioned that as well too, and that's just kind of like what we were saying in the prediction of him winning it, is that it just brings those extra set of eyes that might not be paying attention currently to WWE, might not even know that Logan Paul's over in WWE, but suddenly you get a bunch of people sitting around watching UFC 295 there, and there's Logan Paul. Hey, isn't that guy that went from YouTube into boxing? What the hell's he doing? What belt's that? They start looking into it. People have the internet. All of a sudden, again, it's not always about necessarily these people buying a pay-per-view or watching a premium live event or watching Raw and SmackDown. What it becomes is upping those social media cred, upping their YouTube channel views, upping those kind of things, because those demographics help the company as well too. So every little bit that they can take to put eyes on some sort of focus of what they have for outreach out there is a positive for the WWE.
Yeah. Here's even something I would do. Have Chelsea Green, Piper Niven form a 4-person team and then have an elimination match at Survivor Series. And then maybe, just maybe, your other captains could be Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. One of them pins one Chelsea or Piper, and you have that narrative. Boom.
The narrative of we pin the champs, now it's our turn to lose.
Well, it's like you pin the champion, now you're, you can get a title match. Maybe the next Raw or SmackDown, you have them in a non-title match. They win that match, and then boom, next PLE. Look who's getting a tag title shot.
See, I don't really like champions getting beat that many times consecutively. If I were to do it, I would do it more like that looks like they're able to beat the champions or something like that. The champion is like, nah, tell with this. We don't need to fight you anymore. And they just leave. I'd rather see countouts and disqualifications used in a better way to tell a storyline, so that you separate this whole having to beat champion. Oh my God, they've pinned the champion 7 times in a row to make him look like a total chump. But now that the title's on the line, suddenly the champion knows how to get the job done. That is such a stupid way of booking wrestling. in my opinion. Like, people get so butthurt about countouts and disqualifications, but they can be used in the proper way if you enforce them. And that's the problem, is most wrestling companies now don't enforce these things strictly enough to make it have the same kind of impact that it should have and why it was used in the first place.
It's the same thing with having like maybe 15-minute draws too, or like something like that too. Like, it could be done for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You just have to do it right. But a lot of that is also coming back to just, you know, how they're doing it. Like it's just, you know, it just comes down to the talent and the way they do their job. Sometimes that presentation is just so key, and you can have a great idea and it could work, but if the presentation's bad, there goes that idea. But if it's good, then all of a sudden you're just like, oh man, this idea is so much better now, because we should think about doing it again down the line or something like that. I don't know. I just think at this point, just have them visual in matches, have those championships visual. And if you can do that, then all of a sudden people see that they're there. I mean, the U.S. title elevated in the last little while. Intercontinental title has been elevated. The tag titles have been elevated. The only thing now is get rid of the two sets of titles. Either have one unified champion or do something where each brand has its own champion. One of the two would work. But the common thing is a lot of the titles are being elevated, with the exception of these right now. So I do think it's just time to do something with it, because if they can somehow elevate these tag titles, then they're not really doing anything wrong with their championships at all.
No, exactly.
But yeah, that's kind of my little rant. But
a weird cat.
But also, like, how good would it be if they do something with the tag titles at Survivor Series? They do a women's War Games match. Now you have close to 14 women potentially on one show. Like, when was the last PLE? That could happen outside of a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be an interesting world? Very interesting. But I digress. It's still not gonna happen.
On that note,
maybe in a better world.
Yeah. On that note, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Is there anything that's grinding your gears?
No, I mean, I will get to the end of the show here where I'll talk a little bit about what I got going on this week right away, but nothing extra. And just wanted to run this one by you. I do see our friends at Get the Tables online. I was thinking that maybe we should send our audience over their way here as we wrap up Busting Out this week.
On one condition, and this is I got to ask the people watching on Twitch here. When we do that, I, as well as the man you're about to Get the Tables, we are fans of a similar NFL team, and they're in the same division. Our team are rivals. So if you want to say the phrase "Who dat?" WHODAT, I would be very much appreciated. Because right now, my team's in first place and his team's not. So it'd be funny. But yes, I have no problem. I have no problem rating out to Get the Tables. They're great people, and they do good stuff. So yeah, we'll be doing that. But before we do, we have Bobby Dino coming in. Satoshi Kojima got announced for MLW One Shot.
Nice. Former champ's coming back for One Shot.
So there it is. I figured you'd want to get that out there.
Of course.
But yeah, Bobby, I'll get the thing set up and just let people know where they could find you.
Yeah, that's right. You can follow that ticker down below, but if you're following along here at our local establishment, you're going to be able to find me, of course, this Thursday night with my video bro, Mr. Papa Smokes, and we're going to be having a very special guest. So at the start of the hour, that's right, we're going to be having a member of the PPW roster, one Morris Waltz, joining us for a very special interview. I know Pop Smokes very excited to talk to the up-and-comer Morris Waltz, and we hope that you guys will be too. In addition to that, of course, Busted Out next Sunday right here with my Brunch Buster brother, Chris Parrish. It's going to be a fun time. But a lot of great things going on. We also got the MLW tailgate party, of course, on Saturday. Hopefully you guys are going to be watching along with us. So join us for all the fun across the board in OLE this coming week.
Yeah, gonna be a good time. And for myself, if you want to come and find out some of the stuff that I'll be up to, just see the kicker down there below. And yeah, you can follow me on all those platforms, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram, Threads, Twitch, YouTube, Kick. It's all good. Appreciate everybody who does that. If you want to see me visually, then tomorrow for the Monday Night Raw watch along will mark my streak of being there in entirety, as I am now on parental leave and I have nothing. Well, I have stuff to do, but I'll be there. I have nothing keeping me away from the beginning of the show, is what I was saying. The run-ins are featured endeavored until the end of December.
He's dealing with completely different run-ins these days, so
Right. I mean, I look down and be like, oh. Besides the point, you can see me every Wednesday for Wrestle Draft as Ed Fraz and I play WWE 2K23, the My GM mode, as we face off against Eric Bischoff, that bastard, for our next PLE that I always forget about because, well, we play through his Steam and not mine, so I don't have access to it. But yeah, come check us out. We'll be on time about 10 p.m. Eastern as well. And then, and it's fun to say that I'm not going to be late on anything now. And then, yeah, with you on next Sunday. It's episode 66. 66, actually. That's French.
Saturday with us as well, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Emma. So that's going to be fun. It's going to absolutely going to be a blast on Saturday. So, yeah, come check us out all there. And, yeah, if by chance you're interested in doing a Survivor Series War Games watch-along, message me, and we can make that a thing, just like we've done in the past. So, in the meantime. Actually, I don't know how to say that. You say it. You're
fine.
Yeah.
In the meantime, and in between time, you've been busted.